Welcome back, Shadow and Flamers, to the second video in our series looking at the Dwarf upgrade sprue, available soon from Shadow and Flame. More about that later. So in the previous video we looked at the basic conversions, taking the Games Workshop Grimhammers and just tinkering them, or with them rather, a little bit, just to get them looking a bit more like the Iron Hills from the movies. So we did the basic conversions last time. This time we're going to step it up a little bit, just add some green stuff, straps. We'll give the captain a little bit of hair, and we'll talk a little bit about what to do if things go wrong. Okay, if you're breaking your components, you know, or you cut through something you're not supposed to. We'll talk a little bit about that. Okay, so let's get to it.
Okay guys, so you've seen in the first video how we took the Dwarf upgrade sprue and combined it with the Grimhammer box set from Games Workshop to come up with some nice looking dwarfs that we can use for Iron Hills. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to add some straps on these shields, and maybe on the captain we'll give him a bit of a mohawk haircut, just to make him look a little bit different. Okay, so we're going to talk about that shortly. In the meantime, I'm just going to show you what happens. So we talked in the first video about cleaning these up and what to do if things go wrong. Okay, and what I mean by that is, so you've got your spear and you clean up your head, or the blade rather, and you snap it off accidentally. Alright, it's annoying, but it does happen. Okay, but all you do is, just as before, as you're drilling through the dwarf's hands. Okay, so if we look at this again, so we drilled through the dwarf's hand there with a 0.95mm drill bit. Okay, which is this one. Do exactly the same thing with the spear tip. Okay, so what we do is just file that flush, use our pick tool or pointy needle. Yeah. Okay, so we're just gonna pop that in the center. Okay, just so that we've got somewhere to start drilling, and then we'll use the drill, basically just drill up into the shaft of the spear tip, and hopefully, okay, speed things up. Here's one I've already done. So there's the hole. Okay. There's the old shaft, and it's just a case of popping a bit of glue either in the hole or on the shaft itself. Pop it in, and there you are, back to normal. Normal business shall resume. So that's that. Okay, next up we're going to get the green stuff out, and we're going to add some straps to this guy. As he's probably the easiest one to show you on. So let's do that. Okay, so I've mixed up some green stuff. It's just a little bit, because don't need a lot for these straps. Okay, and then what we need to do is just roll it out. In fact, that's probably a bit too much. Just roll it out until it's quite thin. Okay, I guess you're looking for about 1mm thickness. Okay, so you're looking at that. Right, now you want to just cut I don't know, about 10mm thereabouts, just to work with. Okay. Right. I'm literally just going to lay it on the arm like that. Let's move that out of the way for a minute. Okay. And it's just a case of folding it down either side. Of the arm like that. Okay. And then what you want to do is just push that flat now, so it's a strap. So it goes all the way around. Try and get it a nice uniform thickness. So using your small knife, just cut away the excess on each side of the strap. Okay, let's just pull that a little bit away, so just pop that back in. Okay, the reason that picked up then on the knife is because I didn't moisten the tool, so the green stuff stuck to it. Okay, but that's basically one arm strap. Okay, so for the handle, we can do a similar thing. So we get our little strip back again. But instead of one long strip, we're going to put a piece either side of the fist. So try and get that on one side of the fist. And just work it around. Try not to cover the detail of the fingers if you can help it, but don't worry too much if you do. Okay, and do the same thing on the other side. So you kind of just spreading it onto there to get off the knife. And then once it's attached, just gently go around the edges to get a bit more adhesion. And that's pretty much all there is to that. So this not going to win any awards, this green stuff changes, but just makes it a little bit more effective. Yeah, rather than having the shield stuck on his forearm, it just gives it a bit more reality as to how he's holding it. So you've got that strap that goes around the forearm, and of course the handle which he's holding. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to go away and do that on the rest of the dwarfs, and then we'll come back and have a look at a different type of strap. Okay, next up guys is we got this chap, I don't know if you remember him from the last video. He's got the shield on his back, so the forearm strap and handle is not going to really work for this guy. So what we're going to do is put a shoulder strap on, so from one corner through the arms and attach it around by the waist on the opposite side. Okay, so it's a similar process. Okay, so we roll out our thin sausage, which I've done here. Okay, but now, unlike the previous one we did, where I just stuck it on without flattening it, I stuck it on first and then flattened it on the model. This one, you can't really do that because there's a gap between the shoulder and the shield, so there'll be nothing to press against in order to get that flat. So what we have to do is get it flat before we put it on the model. Okay, which is not as tricky as it sounds. Okay, it's just a case of rolling it out. Now you want a bit of putty that's not freshly mixed, so this has been sitting around for about 10 minutes now. Okay, because if you've just mixed it literally seconds ago, it's going to be quite sticky still. Okay, and you don't want it that sticky. Alright, so all you're doing is just rolling it out gently. Okay, so that gives a nice flat, and then it's just a case of we'll just take that off. Okay, don't worry about the fact that it's coiled up slightly, because that'll straighten out once it's on the model. Alright, so I'm just going to drop this down between his arms. Okay, across the shoulder. Okay, so just attaching it to that corner. I'm just going to swap tools. So you don't want to press too hard on this because it's already flat. I'm just going to follow it round and attach it on the bottom. Okay, I got lucky there, that length was absolutely perfect. Okay, if it's a little bit long, obviously you just trim off the excess. Okay, but you can see how easy that was, and obviously that looks going to look quite effective once it's painted up. Like so. Okay, so he's done. Alright, now another thing, in the previous video, I don't know if you remember, we had a little chat about these two arms, saying if you wanted to make all spearmen, you could chop down the middle of these two arms, but of course that would damage the fingers, the way they're sort of interlocked. Okay, but I've done that on another miniature, which you can see here. Alright, so he's got no fingers. Alright, so what we're going to do is just give him some new fingers. So take a bit more green stuff. Okay, I'm just going to, you only need a little bit. So it's a very small triangle. Don't lose that base for now. Okay, what I'm going to do is just put the triangle on the hand, or try to, with the point towards the wrist. Okay, and then just going to follow that round and bend it round. Like so. Alright, so you just end up with like a blob on the end of the hand there. So now what we do is we're going to put the fingers in. So you want to cut down the middle. Okay. And then you halve that again, this side. And you halve it the other side. To get your finger shapes. And then it's just a case of neatening it up. Okay, so you get the emphasis there of the fingers. Make sure you go all the way around. Okay. And with the little bit inside the palm there, just give the end of those fingers a little bit of definition. Okay. So you can see where they end. Like so. Okay, so a little bit wobbly these, but it's just a case of playing with them. Oh, there's that focusing. I don't know if you can see it or not. There we go. Okay, so a little bit wonky at the moment, but you get the idea. Okay, and we're just going to give him a thumb. So again, very tiny piece of putty now. So just roll that right out. Okay, very small, thin piece. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 millimeters. I'm just going to make a thumb. So just stick it in front of the fingers, bend it back over. And just blend it in with the rest of the hand. Okay, so now you've got a defined hand. And I'm just going to toy around with that a little bit more, just get it a little bit more to my level of satisfaction. Okay, it's not far off, but and then we'll let that set, and then we'll put the straps on just as we did in the ones earlier. Okay, so that's how to do a hand. I mean, the same thing applies, you know, if you're drilling through your hands for your spears, then and you accidentally go through the fingers, that's a similar process on how to do them. Right, so we're going to give this captain a decent hairstyle because he's not wearing a helmet. We want him to look a little bit different to the existing Grimhammer captain, so we're going to give him a mohawk haircut. I think you can see I've already put the straps on his arm. Okay, now with the axe in his hand, obviously we couldn't do the handle, so I've gone for like 2 straps, one at the wrist and one around the elbow there. Okay, and that goes all the way around. So we're going to give this chap some hair. So gonna need a little bit of green stuff. I'm just going to flatten this slightly, just so to get it started. Alright, so what we want to do so stick that on his head, just bring it around, and then it's just a case of trying to get it to adhere to the head a little bit more. Okay, so you're just sort of feathering in those edges. Same thing the other side. You're just dragging down a little the bottom edge of the putty there onto the head. Okay, so you end up something a little bit like that. Okay, so you can see it's starting to take shape. And it's just a case of getting it into the right place on the head. You want it in the middle, obviously. Okay. And then just add in some texture. Some lines. Turn off camera slightly. And then do the same the other side. Remember to keep your tool nice and moist, otherwise it'll stick to the top and pull it off. Okay. Just do the same on the top. Oh, going off camera again. And it's just a case of just playing with this. Keep adding your cuts. That's your hair texture. And then evening it up the other side. Okay, like so. You can have this as high or as low as you want to, really. Okay, obviously if you want a taller mohawk, then use a wider strip of putty. But this is okay for what I want. It's just a fairly short. I mean, you can extend it slightly by putting our finger behind it. Okay, but the danger of that, of course, is that you lose your detail on the other side. So there we go. Just going to bring this down slightly so it blends in with the rest of the hair. Like so. There you go. So that is one mohawked captain to lead these Iron Hills dudes. Right, so hopefully you found that fairly straightforward. Nothing complicated here, it's just technique and practice. Hopefully you're seeing what I'm doing, and if I'm not explaining it very well, I apologise. But pictures say 1,000 words, so hopefully you'll get the idea of what I'm doing. Alright, so there you go, I'm happy for him. I mean, you could add up or add on the extra little things, like, I don't know, what could you give him? War horn, a drinking pouch, anything. But he's already tooled up quite a lot, so I'm not going to give him anything else. He's just going to get a lick of paint when I send him over to Kev. Right, so that's the conversions done. We're going to have a look, see how they all look together, and then we'll talk about the prices and when and where you can get them. Hey guys, just one last thing before we take a look at the finished dwarves. If you've got any spare green stuff left over, don't throw it away. You can just add it on the base, make some rocks, just like I've done there. Okay, so that's just a couple of balls of putty. It's just a case of pushing it on and just scraping some lines around the outside. And you can make some fairly good looking rocks once they're painted up. Of course, once the alright, not the best scenic base in the world, but you know, it just gives it a little bit more to look at, and saves you wasting your green stuff. Okay. So here's some pictures of the finished dwarves. Complete warband with Captain. Unfortunately we didn't have time to get any paint on them before the video came out, but keep an eye on the website. They'll be coming shortly once Kev gets some paint on them. In the meantime, the sprue itself will be available to buy from the website from August 29th onwards. You can pick up one single sprue for £2.50. You can buy 6 together for £12, which works out £2 each. Alternatively, you can pick up 12, which is enough for a whole box of Grimhammers, for £18, which is a bargain because you get them £1.50 per sprue. So that's the end of this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed what you see, and hopefully pick up a few of these sprues yourself and get converting. So, merry miniature modelling.